The morning mist clung to the sleepy town of Coyote Ridge, a forgotten pocket of Colorado where time moved slower and secrets sank deeper. Willa Sinclair, 42, stood at the edge of her small auto shop, coffee steaming in her hand. The words "Torque Queen" faded on her mug. To strangers, she was just a mechanic. But beneath the grease and grit was a woman rebuilding more than engines. She was rebuilding a life. After losing her husband in a factory collapse years ago, she moved here to escape the noise. To find silence, but that silence had weight. That morning, as the first light spilled over the canyons and her golden retriever, Max, trotted to her side, the wind shifted, carrying with it the faint scent of rust and something older, something buried. She turned toward the fence line behind her shop, and the world seemed to hold its breath. The whisper of the wind was more than weather. It was a call. And without knowing why, Willa followed, step by step, into the woods that had long forgotten her name. The trail wound between twisted pines and the ghosts of railroads long dead. Max led the way, tail low, ears twitching like he could sense something she couldn't. When the trees opened into a clearing, Willa stopped cold. There, half buried in the earth and tangled weeds, sat a 1967 Shelby GT500. Its deep emerald paint dulled by time, its chrome kissed by decay. Yet it stood proud like it was waiting. The driver's door hung slightly ajar, creaking in the breeze as if whispering her name. Willa, she approached slowly, fingertips brushing the hood metal warm from the sun. Inside smelled like dust and memory. On the back seat, a small carved wooden box. She hesitated, heart thudding. Then she opened it. Inside were letters, dozens, yellowed and bound with twine. On top, a photo, a man in a soldier's uniform and a laughing woman mid-spin in a sunlit field. The first envelope read, "To Anna, my only reason." From James. Willa read aloud, her voice trembling. "If you're reading this, I never made it back, but you were the best part of me." The forest around her went still. The air felt heavier. This wasn't just a car. It was a grave, a love preserved in rust and steel. That night the Shelby sat beneath the harsh glow of Willa's garage lights, its frame casting long shadows across the floor. The box of letters rested on her workbench like a shrine. She couldn't sleep. Each word she'd read replayed in her mind, every syllable soaked with devotion and loss. Finally, she opened another letter, one written in a shakier hand. "Anna, I know they're watching now, the same men who told me to forget what we saw in Kandahar. If I disappear, it wasn't an accident. I left everything in the Shelby. You'll know what to do." Willa froze, her breath hitched. This wasn't just heartbreak, it was evidence. She opened the trunk. Beneath a faded army jacket sat a metal lockbox, cold and heavy. She tried the code etched in one of the letters, click. Inside, cassette tapes, a USB drive, and a single note to be heard. The world outside was silent, too silent. Then crunch, gravel, footsteps, voices, two men. "She's got it. Check the shop." Willa's blood ran cold. She cut the lights, heart pounding. Max growled low. The darkness swallowed everything except the truth. Someone didn't want these secrets found. The air thickened with fear and motor oil. Willa crouched behind her tool chest, gripping the lockbox against her chest as flashlights swept across the floor. The men were precise, quiet, trained, not drifters, soldiers. "Nothing's here," one hissed. "Then check the pit." Her pulse hammered. The old her, the quiet mechanic who fixed what was broken, would have hidden. But this version of Willa, she had something to protect. She hurled a wrench into the far corner. Clang, the sound exploded through the dark. The men turned, guns drawn. Willa moved fast. She flipped the breaker. The shop fell into blackness. Max bolted with her out the side door into the freezing night. Every instinct screamed run, but she didn't run from pain anymore. She ran toward purpose, toward Charlie Maddox, a grizzled ex-military radio tech who owed her more than one favor. Minutes later, she pounded on his door. "Charlie, I found something bad." His face went pale as the first tape played. Operation Thunderveil was not approved through official channels. Civilians died. Charlie looked at her, voice low. "Willa, this thing could burn the whole damn system down." She nodded. "Then maybe it's time someone lit a match." By dawn, the town looked unchanged, but Willa had crossed a line she could never uncross. The tapes confirmed everything, a covert military op buried for decades, and now people were hunting her for it. Charlie leaned back, eyes heavy. "You can't go to the sheriff." Willa smirked bitterly. "I'm pretty sure the sheriff's part of it." Silence. Then Charlie's eyes sparked with an idea. "Denver Tribune, Maya Hartley, she's TH. She's the only one who can make this public." Willa remembered the name, the journalist who had exposed the Arizona cover-up months ago. "Then that's where it goes." Charlie handed her coordinates scribbled on a slip of paper. "She's got a source near Three Pines Ridge, off-grid but safe. Get it there, they'll send it for you." That afternoon, Willa packed light. The tapes, the USB, the revolver, and Max, her shadow in golden fur. The mountain road ahead was cracked and narrow, the kind that could swallow a truck hole. But Willa knew how to drive in the dark. As the sun dipped low, she whispered to Max, "This isn't just their story anymore, it's ours now." The night swallowed the sound of her engine like a secret shared between ghosts. Three Pines Ridge was a graveyard of pine and stone. The cabin appeared through the mist, half buried under time. A sign read "Private Property, Keep Out." Willa smiled faintly. Perfect. The man inside was weathered, quiet. He called himself Red. When he saw the tapes, he didn't ask questions. He just said, "Let's send it." As the radio signal hummed to life, Willa stood outside, wind tugging at her jacket, the horizon painted gold and violet. "It's in the air," Red murmured. "Let's hope the right ears are listening." But Willa wasn't done. She saw an old cassette player on a shelf, one tape she hadn't dared to play yet, for Anna final message. She fixed the player, hands trembling, then pressed play. A man's voice, broken but warm. "Anna, if you're hearing this, it means I didn't make it home. The truth, it's heavy, but you were always the braver one. Don't bury this car. Let someone find it." Willa's breath shattered. His words hit deeper than confession. Because she, too, had buried something, her own heart. For years, she'd built walls from silence and steel. But this cracked them open. That night, under a sky drowned in stars, Willa built a fire beside the cabin. The flames danced like old memories, fragile, bright, fleeting. In her hands, two relics, James's final letter and Ben's flannel shirt. One from a man she'd never met, one from the man she'd lost. She laid them in the fire, whispered their names, and as the smoke rose into the cold mountain air, she let go. 2 weeks later, headlines screamed across the nation. "Whistleblower's final message, Operation Thunderveil exposed." Names, documents, proof. The truth was free, but Willa Sinclair wasn't on any broadcast. She wasn't giving interviews. She was home, back in Coyote Ridge. The shop still stood. The same tools, the same dents, but she was different now. She rolled the Shelby into the sunlight, its emerald paint shining like hope reborn. It wasn't just restored, it was redeemed. She poured 2 cups of coffee, one for herself and one for the empty chair beside her. For Anna, for James, for Ben. For all the ghosts who never stopped whispering to be heard. By noon, a rental car pulled up to the shop. An older woman stepped out, silver hair, soft eyes, Margaret Whitmore, James's sister. She'd found Willa through the Tribune, in her hand a weathered envelope. "He wrote this for Anna. It was never opened. I think he'd want you to have it." Willa took it gently. Inside was a single note. "If you're reading this, maybe someone carried me the rest of the way. Thank you." Willa smiled through quiet tears. She placed the letter in the Shelby's glove box beside the others. As the sun melted over Coyote Ridge, she stood at the garage door, hands stained with oil and grace. Sometimes the loudest truths are whispered through the smallest acts of courage. And sometimes all it takes to change the world is a woman with a wrench, a dog who never leaves her side, and a car left behind by a man who refused to be forgotten. The old Shelby gleamed in the golden light, not as a relic, but a legacy. A promise that no voice, once found, would ever fade again. If you believe every truth deserves to be heard, don't forget to subscribe. More stories await you right here.